Sure. Good evening, everyone. What you have just witnessed is what we call a walkthrough. We're veterans of the American Legion Post 43, whose commander is Nadia Barron, and VFW Post 3873, whose commander is Leo Jaime. We come to pay our last respect to Guy Fraley. I can't remember the first time that I met Guy Fraley, but I do remember a specific dinner that we had. Guy's wife, my wife, and a bunch of people were at a trivia dinner, and across the table from me sat Guy and Char. When my wife and I got there, seats that we took up, I sat by Mayor George Pradle. Mayor Pradle looked at me because I was wearing a blue blazer, and I'm customarily known to have a military ornament on it or something, so he noticed that and he started talking to me. He said, "You know, Jim, you should really try to convince Guy Fraley to join the Honor Guard." So about 2-3 days, sometime during the next week, I went to Guy Fraley, met with him, and I said, "Guy, why don't you join the VFW?" And he just looked at me and smiled. And I said, because I wasn't getting a reception that he was really ready to do that. So I said, "How about if you join the VFW, I'll have you join the Honor Guard. You can pick up an M1, you can fire it." And a huge grin on his face.
Yes.
That is all that it took.
Yes.
And so that was probably the June timeframe of 2017. So when he first came to the very first training session after he joined the VFW, I wasn't paying a close enough attention during that dinner. He was using his left hand. He was eating his left hand. If you know something about the Honor Guard, we hold the rifles and we go like this. Guy would have to go like this. And I said, "Guy, are you willing to totally relearn how to fire if you would go like this?" And he looked at me and smiled and he said, "I can do that." So he did that, and we've had many sessions when we were a full staff and Guy was there every time. He was an amazing patriot. A lot to say about that. Then probably maybe about 6 months, 7 months ago, we started to have issues with standing and with the loss of some of his strength in his arm. So we had a conversation, and he said, "Yes, I will hold a flag." And at that time, he had already mastered the walker. So I thought, how amazing would that be when you see a line of Honor Guard members and a member who thought so deeply enough that he would have a walker in the same line as the rifleman holding the American flag. And it couldn't be just any American flag. He didn't want to hold the flag that he had on his house. He knew that I had the flag from the healing fields maybe 4 or 5 years ago, whatever the last one we had on Rotary Hill. And so he knew that had special meaning and emphasis, so he wanted to hold that flag, which I had that flag from Rotary Hill. So we did that for quite a long time. And one thing that happened maybe 3 months after that, he came to me and said, "Jim, I have an idea. What I think I would like to do is when the hearse brings the veteran into the cemetery, I would like to be at at the opening of the cemetery, the entrance of the cemetery, so as the hearse comes in, he's holding the American flag out of total respect for the veteran who's being buried that day." He did that, and he loved doing it. And one amazing thing happened to him. It was at the Assumption Cemetery, and as some of the mourners had already paid respects and they buried their loved one, cars were leaving. One particular car started to slow down. It stopped. The driver got out, and he walked up to Guy, and he gave him a salute. That's never happened before, and it's not happened since. But that had a profound effect on Guy, and he knew he was doing the right thing. Plus, it was patriotism 101, perhaps. So we're going to miss Guy, but before we do the final salute, Guy was in the Navy for 8 years, Honor Guard for 4 years, police for 11 years. So he was always a person serving the nation. What an amazing patriot. So again, we're going to miss him a great deal.
Is that on a